Hello, TAP Success Coaches. I want to take a moment and just talk about feedback on the abbreviated structured literacy lesson plan for TAP 605 students. If you have a TAP 605 student, this is the lesson plan template they'll be using, and it looks a little different. So I wanted to address just what it might look like and give you a little bit of information. As you take a look at the lesson logistics, the logistics have been reviewed by the TAP 605 instructors. So be certain to still look at the standards, objectives, and the assessment, but know that a pair of eyes has already looked at it and the student has received feedback and probably made corrections. As you keep going down here, I want to bring your attention to the pre-teaching reflection. In this part, there's a question that says, what are two specific areas in this lesson you want feedback on? This is a way to help guide your instruction and feedback. It is also a way for you to individualize the feedback that you provide for the students. So this student would like feedback on the components of reading and structured literacy integration and on student engagement. When I saw that, I went right back up to where it talks about the components of reading and structured literacy integration. I highlighted that and provided a new comment for the student. She has not included all 5 pillars in her lesson, and that's all right. I did provide information for her about how she could include phonics instruction in her lesson, but I told her she didn't have to include that at this time. It's really just kind of a conversation as she heads forward into the full structured literacy lesson plan template to give her an idea of what that might look like. As you come down here, you'll notice that the bulk of my feedback is down here in the instructional sequence. So you'll see that this lesson starts with an engage, where students are to encourage their students to notice and to wonder and to get curious about what the lesson will be about. I give some information here, some feedback on, she's got some little pig ears that she's going to put on. And I think that's a great idea and a unique way to engage her learners. Now, I did have some questions about the questions she included within her engage, and I addressed that down here. Her phonemic awareness is appropriate for kindergarten. They are talking about rhyming words. And so I encouraged her to take that question, what are rhyming words, that's in the engage, and place it within the phonemic awareness and make it more explicit instruction. So she would tell the students what rhyming words are instead of asking them at first. Kindergartners need more direct instruction on this concept. So I asked her to move that down here with her rhyming word instruction, which is excellent. Then she goes on to her vocabulary, which is very appropriate and connected to the text. She's listed her words and the definitions, which is great, but I see a need for more detail. And you'll notice that I placed that comment several times, asking for more detail. And I ask her questions to help her know what details I'm looking for. So, right here, you'll notice that I ask her to help students. She suggests that she's going to help students understand the vocabulary with visual aids, which is a great idea. But she needs to be thinking about how she's going to pass those items around or how she's going to handle that instruction. And think about if she'll have everyone pass it around before she goes on, if she's going to set up maybe a table where students get to go observe and look at the items. She needs to think through how that's going to work within her lesson and engage students and keep everyone involved and help everyone to know that they'll get a chance. I love these questions that she asks right here. She includes these questions. What would you build your house from? Why did you choose this? Those are excellent questions. They're fantastic. They really get students to be thinking and to reason. But she needs to include how students are going to respond to these questions. Are they going to think, pair, share? Are they doing this whole group? Will each student get a chance to respond? How could she ensure 100% participation in this discussion with these questions that are such good questions? And I ask her that within the feedback. Now, as you look at her comprehension section, you'll notice, like I did, it needs more detail. She's included her questions, which is fantastic. So I start off my feedback by telling her, I love your questions. You're doing a great job, but please include more detail. How will you help students remember the key details of the book? How will you encourage them to ask questions? What is she going to say to encourage this? How is it going to work? I also asked her to include the page numbers where she'll be asking the specific questions that she has listed. She needs to really think through her questioning and be just intentional about where those questions are placed so she can help to guide her learners to understand who the characters are, what the setting is, what the main events are, because that connects back to her standard. And including those details within the comprehension section is going to be really important. And I let her know that within the comments. Her assessment is fantastic. She included an assessment that is connected to her standards and her objectives. It's fantastic, but she didn't give detail about how she's going to administer this assessment. Will students need their pencil and crayons? How will she give instructions? She didn't include any of that. She just says they're going to have a worksheet, they'll get their pencil, but within the assessment, there's a picture. So I anticipate that students might want to use their crayons to draw the picture. So she's done a great job. She's done a lot of really good things here, but she needs to add some detail. Down here, I love how she added her future content knowledge of what students will do next. I said, I agree, students will continue to need to practice on these skills. And she says they'll use different books and they'll still continue working on these same skills. So important, as we all know. So this is just one view of how I did feedback for an abbreviated structured literacy lesson plan. I hope it was helpful. If you have questions, reach out. I'm always here to help. My name's Jennifer Culp, and you can reach me at email. And I would love to visit and continue the conversation if you would like to. Thank you for all you do for TAP students.